Like I said, this is probably not our most efficient sawing operation, but it's a huge log, 17 foot long, weighs well over a ton, and we're rolling it one more time, and now they finally got the log on here where we can take the saw and we can cut it into cants. It takes a lot of effort. There's 4 guys trying to roll this thing, and it's heavy. So anybody thinks it's easy, let me know. And anybody that's got a log roller for sale cheap, let me know too. We don't have any money. Well, we're finally getting ready to start cutting some cants. So Gary's marked the first cant. So remember, we're making fence boards here. So these are like 6 inches wide, 1x6s, 17 foot long. So he's going to cut a nice big cant. And these cants are heavy too. These weigh hundreds of pounds. So it's big wood and it's hard to move, but they're getting it done. And once we get the cants done, as you all know, making the boards flies. That goes quick. So what's going on here, and this is a little bit tricky. Gary's got a big cant on here. It's 17 foot long, and we don't want to have to carry this cant back to resaw it. So what he does is he's going forward very, very slowly until it just starts to drop. As soon as it drops and hits the tracks, the carrot, whatever you want to call it, where the rollers are, he wants to pull that thing back. And that way it makes it easy to pull off. So you may have noticed Gary's a big guy, and watch how hard it is and how much effort it takes for him to push this cant back onto where it's supposed to be. It's a big effort, and these things are heavy. It's hundreds and hundreds of pounds. We'd like one of those hydraulic log rollers. Did I mention that before? Well, I'll tell you what, this is taking a little bit of time, actually a lot of time, but if you check it out, Gary's now got 3 gorgeous cants. I mean, check out these things. There's 3 of them, and when you start slicing them, we'll make fence boards extraordinarily fast because you can stack one on top of the other. And the saw is big enough, we've got enough juice here, you can cut through them very quickly. So it's taken a lot of effort to saw this guy down. We kind of had to act like a pencil and sharpen it, and it was just a huge amount of effort. But in the end run, it's very efficient once you start making boards, which you're going to see very shortly. Thank goodness. All right, so the next step is Pete came up with the idea, and he's been doing this way longer than most of us have, is put these 2 cants on top of each other, and that way we get 2 boards at once when we're sawing them. So take both the cants that you just cut, flip them over. Beautiful. That's how to be efficient. And you'll see we got plenty of ponies here so that we can cut this. The real question is, should we have slowed down a little bit, put the 56-inch saw on here? Do we have enough horsepower for that? Not everyone is so sure we do. We might for the poplar. It's a soft wood. I don't know if that would have been a good plan or not. We ought to try it. At least it's a sharp saw, and it's been hammered recently, so we know it's in good shape. So this is kind of cool here. Now we've got 2 big cants. They're 17 foot long, remember, on top of each other. So we're basically cutting 1 foot high cant, and we're getting 2 boards at a time. So get your stopwatch out and check it out, how long it takes to make 2 boards. It's not a whole lot of time actually. So per board, this goes very, very quickly once you finally get the cants done and you can start pushing things through. All right, so just to prevent you all from falling asleep, I've sped this up while we cut these smaller boards down into fence boards. We've got a pile of them. They've got probably a dozen of them. And that's a good question. How many of them do you stack on top of the other? At least 2. I think you can stack 3 or 4 of them without having any problems. We're still figuring that one out anyway. If you got any good plans on that, let us know. But the problem is our dogs probably need reworking because they don't hold things tight and they kind of move a little bit. So we're a little bit nervous about stacking them too high. So as soon as we get done chopping these up, we'll put this last cant on there and we'll finally be done with this 17-foot log. Okay, so the question for everybody now is, how many fence boards are we going to get out of this one cant? Now, this first one, does it count? Yeah, we'll probably use it as a fence board. So keep track. Let us know how many boards you get out of this. Well, this log definitely took way longer to saw than most other logs we've ever dealt with. But it's 17 foot long. It's a pretty good sized log. It's poplar, and it makes a whole ton of fence boards. So once you get cants made out of it, and we got 3 beautiful cants out of it, we sawed some pretty quick boards, or Gary sawed some boards. But it's not just Gary, it's a whole team here. You've got everybody working. And now that we're done sawing this log, we're going to do one log today. It took way longer than it should have, probably a couple of hours. But it's time to do a little bit of cleanup. And after we do cleanup, we'll check it out and see how many boards we got. All right, well, here's today's work. We ended up getting over 40 from that one log. It was a nice log. It was over a 30-inch log. Phil, Ellen, and I cut this log out a little while ago, and we dragged it out, and we finally made fence boards out of it for the guys here. So we got a lot of fence boards. It took a little while to figure out how to cut it, but I believe it worked out pretty well. And the other project recently is making new gates and new fences. So we rehung all of these gates. It was just falling apart. We had some locust, put them in the ground, and Phil and Alan did a pile of work here and finished her up. I think she looks pretty darn good. We'll go and take a look at the rest of it. Look at this. For a bunch of people that don't know how to do woodworking, you'd think they're woodworkers. It's almost level too. Nice job, nicely done. So that wraps it up for today.